Right, so welcome to this the weekly review for week 41. Yeah, so what you have on the chart, of course, this was how the week went. So you have all the trades and also the setups. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all of this off, and then we're gonna go through each the trades individually, right? Okay, so let's do this. Just a sec. So I'm just gonna put all of that in folder here, take that off. I'm gonna name that folder week 41 live. Okay, so week 41 live, so we have that. Yeah, so we can turn it on and off. I think I have some others not from there. Okay, anyways, we're good. So with this, let me also week 40 roundup, taking everything off. Okay, so let's take this to Monday 1 a.m. So let's take that there. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour first. So higher time frame. In our case, our high time frame is the 4 hour, right? So we're very clear where we're at. So let's draw this. So this low was taken out by this move here. So that's a boss. So expectedly now we now expect that this high would hold or should hold, right? If the structure, the bearish structure is going to continue, so this high should hold, and then we should get a sell-off, until price takes out this low. That's very clear, I believe. Okay, so with that now we can go to the 15 minutes. Okay, so now on the 15 minutes you can see, let's show what we have here. You can see a high was registered here, low, and then price. On some brokers you would see a large candle, right, that dropped, okay, when the market opened on Sunday. From last week, I guess this gap also was partly because of the Israel-Palestine war, or Israel-Hamas war, if I'd say that. So you had a very large gap here. So this would have been like a long candle, right? So that would be a change of character, and now price is pulling back to sort of tap into that, and we get that continuation, that sell-off. So we have that there. Models. So we can draw essentially from this candle. I'll just draw this entire candle. I'll just draw it out on the 50 minutes, right? So we have that, and then this is 1 a.m. So we expect this low essentially to go, right? Looking at price action, knowing also from the high time from the 4 hour, we clearly know that this is the low of the 4 hour, right? So this is ultimately the goal in terms of structure. But when is price going to hit this? I have no idea. It can hit it in a day, it can hit it, in days, or even, yeah, maybe next week, which is, of course, because this is a recap anyway, so you get what I mean. So we have that. So let's see what we have now. There are a few things to also bear in mind when we see price action like this. Quite well, yes, price can just sell off from this 4 hour, but also if we have some fundamentals coming out, important fundamentals, things like NFP, CPI, sometimes in terms of price action, the market just sort of buys into the news, or buys into the rumor, and sort of when the actual figures come out, the market sells off, right? So even though we have the structure and we're expecting that sell-off, we may also just get a continuation, buys to the upside in anticipation of CPI that is to come out and all of that. So these are also things that you'd only learn, through experience in the market. So let's see how all of this plays out. So let's take this to Monday morning. So this is 6:30, 6:45 a.m. Right? Now, based on price action, we know that this low should go, right? Because this is, let's draw this also. So we have here this high, you see this? High, low, high, low. Price has pulled back, and then price seems ready to take out this guy. So we expect this guy to go. But so this is what we're expecting, right? So let me take this out. So this is what we're expecting in terms of structure, right? That this low is going to go. But looking at the time, this is 96.5 and price is here. So we may as well get that sort of buy before that sell, happens if price fails to close below this level. All right. So let's play this. Okay, so this is now 7:15, right? So 7:15, you can see price has cleared, has taken out the slow. So essentially, we don't really have anything, right? If you ask me, we don't really have a trade right now. So let's just see how all of this. Now, okay, with this now, we now have this flow has been taken. So now we expect that price will return to this area and then sell off. But you must also understand that we have a gap around here. So you can see this gap is not yet filled. So what we may also end up having is that we may just end up having price, pulling back, violating this high to fill this gap. And when there is something like this, you want to be very careful with your expectation in terms of trying to look for, sells, because that could just end up, you could just end up taking unnecessary, losses. All right. So with that, let's just play this out. Let's see what we have. So let's draw some things also. So the market reacted to this area here, and that's what gives us this, right? We'll have that. Now we also have this here, this candle down below here, right? You can see that was already mitigated. You can see this price action, low, high, pullback, and then continuation. So we can also draw this candle out. Right, so we can draw this candle. So this is also a very good place for price to react to. Okay, and why am I saying this? Because CPI is coming out, and even though structure tells us the price is ready to sell off, we may actually get that continuation buys, okay, in anticipation of CPI. So basically the market will try to buy the rumor and then sell the news. Okay, that's the entire philosophy that we're sort of working with here. Okay, sorry, just a second. Okay, so let's see what we have. 7'5", 8.15, and then this is 8'5". Here we go. You can see price is now pulling back, right? 9.15, 9.45. Do we have anything? Now you can see price is pulling back. Okay. Now one thing you could see here is that price is reacting to the range and not necessarily reacting to this candle, to this refined internal candle here. It's reacting to the entire range. So you can just draw that out. So with this now in mind, typically would have expected to sort of sell from this area here, right? Would have drawn this, but experience tells me that price will likely pull back to fill this gap here. Okay, I may not just get that sell automatically, take that out. So we may not just get that automatic sell, because this was the high that led to this low being taken out, and then when price comes here, and then we expect that sell. Typically that would have been what we would expect, but then it may not necessarily happen that way. So with this in mind, we're going to draw this as a change of character. I'm going to anticipate that if price pulls back, then we should get an entry, and then we can write this entry to fill this gap. And this is so not just market structure. This is based on understanding of price action, and also understanding of things beyond the technical analysis and all, right? So we have that. We're tagged in, as you can see. So we have, okay, price is pulling back. So with this now, we're in this trade, right? So typically I'm not going to stack this. Usually I just want to be in one single trade at a time, but this is also an opportunity for anyone who wants to stack the trade to sort of stack the trade. You have a sweep of liquidity, you have a change of character. If price pulls back, you enter again and then swing it. But that is that. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, the end of day, and price seem to selling up, but then still pushing higher. Let's see how all of this develops. Okay, so I think that's it. Yeah, most likely they should have given that win. Anyways, Asia session, here we go. So now it's already the next day. This most likely would have already given us our win. So let's just put this 1 to 5. This typically usually to be 1 to 5 anyway. So I'll always aim for 1 to 5. Now, it's very important to understand what was at play here. The only reason why I did not take a shot, which I would have done, and you can see price came into this zone, I reacted to it, but then failed to really push lower to take out the previous low, because there is a gap here and the market will always return to fill this gap. Okay, and you have to sort of, these are things that you will get to experience as you trade live markets. You see how price actually gets to play out and also how to anticipate things like this. But it was because of this gap that I was willing to take a long from here to trade into this area, looking at how price action developed Monday. Okay, so with that, this is 5:30 a.m. Let's see how price develops and what we get. So 6:30 a.m. by this time already we're going to be on the chart. So what do we expect now on the chart? Let's draw what we have here. I can see here this low was swept during the swap. So we have here a sweep of liquidity. You see that? Now let me just take this out. Let me just put this here so it doesn't confuse us too much. So we have that, and then we have this high. Okay, you can take that high and say, okay, this high was actually was taken out, so that this is almost irrelevant. Or we can even take this high and say, hey, now you can see that this high was taken out by this low, right? So this shows us that the market, the internal price action is now bullish. Okay, so this high that led to this low being taken out, that gave us this low, has now been taken out by price, and that tells us that the market is now bullish. So with this and coming into the market at 7 a.m., what do we expect? We expect that price, of course, as London opens, is going to react massively. So look at this. So we can take this low here because this was the low flip that led to this high being taken out. So we can draw that across, because now this is also an understanding of time and price. So we know that this is already around 7 a.m. 6:15, 7 a.m. is just by the corner. So, and price has shown us that the market is willing to push higher. And it's not just technical analysis, it's also because we know that CPI is coming out this week. And because CPI is coming out, the market will always try to buy the rumor and sell the news. So we know that we're going to get more buys as against getting sells ahead of CPI. And that is just something you don't just understand from technical analysis. You understand that by the mixture of technical analysis and fundamentals. Okay, so that's that. So now, with this, now I think we've seen everything we need to see. So typically, I'm going to have an entry here. Stop just below this area. And then the target is going to be at minimum this high, right? But now, because I know that CPI is going to come out, this high is definitely going to go. I just know it's going to go, right? So we can also target this high here now. Okay, so that's that. So let's see how this develops. Okay, 7. So you can see 8:15, price has respected that. Now let's analyze what's happening here. This was a sweep zone. Price tapped into it from around 7. You can see price swept the lows from 7. So from 7:30. So if you had put your stop just below this area, maybe you entered on a 1 minute or whatever, when the market went around 8:15, you can see the market returned to sweep all of those lows and then continues. And this is where entering on the 1 minute and entering can sometimes be really painful, because sometimes you may get this kind of market entry, the market tested the area by 7 and then they're pulling off, and then you enter maybe around here, and then your stops get swept, and then the market continues in your direction. So you basically just need to weigh your pros and cons, and also depending on your psychology, determine how you actually enter this this market. So anyways, that's that. So let's see how that continues to build up. So clearly, very smooth price action, right? And this is simply because we understood not just technical analysis, but in addition to technical analysis, fundamentals. Okay, and that was what was driving all of our price action here. Okay, so guys, with that, I'll take that off. We now have this high has now been taken, so officially the market has been confirmed bullish. Okay, So the market is now bullish. So what do we expect now after a bullish move like this? We expect a pullback, right? So let's see what we get. So this is London session on Tuesday. So let's see, do we get that on the same Tuesday? So you can see here, this is change of character, right? Now, if you see something like this, the market is bullish, but if you see something like this, I'll definitely be tempted to take a short, right? But different things will determine if I take the short. If, for example, you know, I'm willing to risk minus 1 hour. This is giving plus 6.37. So I can risk 1 hour, and now if it works out, fine. If not, but we also know that taking a short is not really the best, because CPI is coming out and the market will continue to push upwards. Okay, ahead of CPI, more like buying the rumor, right? So taking short are not really high probability, right? They are low probability trades, and you need to be able to weigh your pros and your cons to determine if you're willing to take a risk and take the trade and all. So, anyways, but that's that. So let's just say for this trade, we aim for 1 to 5, right? And let's see how that plays out. Okay, so nothing for us. As you can see, price has gone so far away from our entry, so we just take that out. So with this now, New York session comes on board. Let's see, what do we have? Not really to move me here. Yeah. So anyways, with this, I'll just have to let this go. Yeah, so you can see price after taking out this high pullback during New York session tapped into this area and continued. But was that really a trade I would have taken? No, I actually did not even consider this at all. So, but that would have been a 1 to 3 for anyone that was interested, right? But I didn't take that, so let's leave that. Okay, so now we have new structure. So this high has now been taken. As you can see, we now have a new low here. All right, so we now have a new low. So basically we have a structure clearly spelled out like this. Of course, we have all of these areas where price is likely to also react to, so we can draw that out. Price reacted to this zone here, so we can draw that out too. So yeah, what else we have? So yeah, so let's just leave this at that. So that is it. So next day, let's take it to Wednesday morning. Let's take it there. So this is Asia session. Okay, 5:15. Of course, I'm not on the chart by this time, so let me take it to something much more realistic. 6:45. So 6:45, I'll typically be on the chart. So let's analyze price action here. What do we have here? You can see here quickly that price respected this zone, tapped into it, pulled out, tried to mitigated it again, and then pulled out. So here we can see this flow has been taken out. So we have that liquidity sweep. You can see that. That's liquidity sweep, right? So I can just leave this like this. So we have that liquidity sweep, and then that means this zone becomes a sweep zone. Now, what is the similarity you see between this zone here, this price action here, and this price action here? You see, that is why sometimes price just does the same thing over and over again. This drop happened around during market 12 by 10 p.m. And also this also happened the same time, 10 p.m. So you can see the same price action. So when you see this, what do you expect? Well, just expect the price going to tap into this area and have a continuation. Simple as that. So with this, we know expecting price to tap into this and have a continuation. But is it going to play out? Well, let's see if it plays out. If it doesn't play out, it's still the same thing. You followed, price action. You followed the same process. You followed the plan, and you're happy whether it works out or it doesn't work out. So this is the time is what? The time is 6:45 a.m. So now we expect price to tap into this, and then we expect this low to go. Again, while we're expecting this to go, we expect the trend to continue ahead of CPI. Okay, so that is essentially, so you can see the market has been buying, and that's because CPI is going to come out, and when CPI comes out, it's going to be a massive sell. Okay, so when you see this kind of price action, just get someone excited. Okay, so we expect this high to go. Essentially, I usually say that is where the money is at. So I'm very clear. So I'm not looking for short. I'm simply just looking for buys. Okay, so let's see what we get. 7:15. Price seems to be moving away. Okay, nice. Anyways, you can see clearly here price did not give us an entry. So price did not come here to give us an entry. So yeah, we don't have an entry. But anyway, so let's just take this out. So this zone is still valid because you can see price reacted. Let's draw the entire candle. You can see I wanted to get a refined entry, right? And that was why, we didn't get that. So you can see the price clearly tapped into that zone, and then we got that, massive push to the upside. So if wanted to enter, by all means, right, you could have seen something like this. But the question you ask yourself, is this a very good risk to reward? For me, I don't consider it a very good risk to reward because I want to really just extract more. So I wouldn't have anyways taken any trade from around this area. So I wanted to get that refined, pullback, and then we get that continuation. So anyways, with this now, we have all of this. So what do we expect? We expect price to see pull back into this area, and then we get a continuation. But do bear in mind that you have all of this unmitigated zone. You have the unmitigated area below this, so price can tap into it, and then we get that push. Now, anyways, London price action has played out massively already. So let's see what we get. Oops, that's a massive pullback. What came out around 8 a.m. on Wednesday? I'm not sure, but what came out again? I'm not sure. But anyways, with this pullback, we'd typically have an entry here, right? We'll still maintain, our entry, because now this is the low that led to this high being taken. So expect price to return, tap into it, and then continue upwards, right? That's the expectation. Is that gonna work out? 5 to 9 thereabout. I think this was around like 1 to 7 thereabout. I was aiming for. Yeah, I remember this streak moved in our direction quite well, but eventually price pulled back. So you can see we got substantial good, risk to reward, but then later on, news came out at around during New York session, and then price sort of pulled back. I remember this. So now with this, we haven't had an entry on this Wednesday, so we'll typically have also another entry here, just in case we get that sweep. There's a news was coming out actually, and I think that's what eventually led to this not working out. I remember that clearly. Okay, so you can see that was it. So that was a sweep that took us out, did not also tap into this, and then eventually went to TP. Remember this clearly. So this did not work out, so there was no entry here, and our entry, which was of course perfect based on which was similar to what we had the previous day, you can see did not work out exactly the way it worked out the previous day. And that's the thing about trading. The patterns are not going to happen every single time. You're not going to have the same exact thing every single time. Okay, there would always be some sort of difference. All you just need to do is to be consistent in how you enter and also how you analyze price. Okay, so this is it. So this then becomes another sweep zone. You can see that, right? So we have that, and then we can draw this massive candle across. Trading is an art. Okay, so that's that. End of the day, 5 p.m. already. I'm not going to be looking for another trade at this time, so just going to take it out. But also because this is a sweep zone, if you want to risk it, you can actually enter here, and you expect price to respect that and then target this high. Because it's a sweep zone, it may work out, and the market is bullish anyways, but I wouldn't take this trade because it's beyond 5 p.m. for me. So that is just me, right? But some other person may take it. Okay, so let's take it to the next day, Thursday, which was when CPI came out. Okay, so 6:15. Now what do we have here? Let's analyze what we have in terms of price. So we have here another sweep zone. Okay, so we have that. This has already been mitigated by this price action. So we have this here. So we can draw this across, as you can see that. What else? We also have, of course, this is still, we have this zone also around here. Okay, okay, cool. So this is it. So 6:15. So let's see, 7 a.m. Now this high has been taken out. Okay, so that has been taken out. So what do we expect? We expect price to return, tap into this area and continue. Um, if price does give us that during London session, but we may not necessarily get that. But now because CPI is coming out, so we may get an opportunity, to massively sell. Now, the market has been buying ahead of the news, and this usually would happen, more like buy the rumor and then sell the news, right? So the market has basically been buying, the rumor, and then now CPI is about to come out, so we expect that we're going to have a massive sell, right? So let's see what we get here. Okay, 9:30. Okay, so you can see how price is sort of consolidating ahead of CPI, right? So let's draw this. So this is chalk. So two things are bound to happen. Now as CPI is going to come out, we're going to get, I think I also did live analysis of this at the time. We're going to get price may just pull back, respect this consolidation that we have here, and then we get that massive drop, right? Or we may get price push into this area, respect this, supply zone, and then we get a massive drop. Two of these are likely to play out. So for anyone who wants to trade the CPI, this would be how you enter the market. You put your stop around here, right? That is like that's like 5-6 pips thereabouts, okay? And then you target what now? Now, mind you, because the market has been building liquidity all through the week, it has been buy. So liquidity has been building around these areas. You have a lot of, stops around these areas. So price is likely to sweep all of this guy, all of this, all of this, right? When, what do you call it? When CPI comes out. So ahead of CPI, I'm going to take out all of this because I'm expecting a massive sweep. So to be conservative, you can decide to target maybe the previous low, this low for example, and you're conservative with your target, or you can decide to target this one or this one, whichever one, right? But at the end of the day, the market has been buying, and this is strong indication that when CPI comes out, we'll most likely will have all of these lows swept. So we would have this entry, and then this entry. Now I did not take this, but if I was to trade this is how I'm going to set up my entries, right? I'm gonna have these two entries. If this holds, fine, we're good. If this fails, hopefully this holds, and then we're good. If not, two losses in the day, and that's perfectly okay. -2 are no problem. We've been winning all week. Okay, so that is that. So let's see how this played out. So 10:45, 11 a.m. So this was 11:15, 11:30. Could see that 12. Now this was CPI coming out. This is 12:15, 12:30, 12:45, 1, and then 1:15. So this was it. So 1:15. So what was likely to happen with CPI coming out? We either get a run of this high, tap into this area, and get a sell-off. But the sell-off was high probability, and the reason why the sell-off was high probability was simply because you could see that the market was buying the rumor, okay, and then sold. Expectation was that the market was going to sell off, when the news came out. And when CPI came out, by the way, the numbers were very good for the dollar, So the next candle is going to show us that. So you can see massive drop, right? You see that, okay, and that's simply perfect. And that's simply understanding, how the market builds up. And I'm just going to tell you this. I already shared the chart work of this. Learn, master this, go through this, back test this, different months and all, match the technicals with the fundamentals, and you begin to see patterns that allow you to take advantage of this type of price action. When the week opens and you have a lot of buys ahead of a major news like the CPI, just know that when the news comes out, most likely you're going to have a sell, and that's simply because the market will always buy the rumor and then sell the news. Okay, so you can see how this played out. This, we didn't need this, right? Because this already played out. So 1 to 10, 1 to 11, 1 to 12, perfect stuff. Okay, so that is that, and that was the end of the trading day for us. So we'll take you to Friday and see how Friday played out. Okay, so six, oops, seven. Anyway, so here we are. So Friday, let's analyze what we have here. So here we have this low, and that automatically gives us an area of interest. So this high here, we can draw it across, right? So you can see price tapped into it. Now, what do we expect? We expect that now this low, because the market is heavily bearish, the numbers came out for the USD and it was very strong. So we expect that we're gonna have, the US dollar is still gonna gain, right? And now, by the way, let's go to the 4 hour. There's something I think interesting there. You can see on the 4 hour we had drawn that the market was bearish, and you can see price swept all of these highs, right? But we're still expecting that this low is gonna go, right? So price swept all of this high, tapped into this, consolidation area around here, and it seems now. Let me draw this. Oh, excuse me. All right. So price has tapped into this area, and it seems we may get, that sell-off, right? Right. But let's see how all of that plays out. Okay, so the market opened. You can see this. Now, what do we have here? We have here a change of character during London session. So what I did was I had two entries. One was here. My stop was above this area. Target here, right? But I also knew something. Even though we have here this change of character when the market opened, London session, we may also get a sweep of this high, but this area here will be respected, and then we get a continuation. So essentially, the right setup here is going to be two, and yeah, that's if you want to, of course. You don't want to wait for the sweep or the rate or whatever. So 5 pips thereabout, and then we'll target this. Okay, so this would be it. Now, and this was actually it because price has done this, but this enter, you can see it's a very large supply zone. So price can just sweep this high, tap into deeper into the supply zone, and then you get that sell off. So you don't just want to be caught off guard such that you say, okay, because I see this here, price will just tap into this and then we get our sell off. It may not necessarily play out like that. So let's see what we have. So 7:15. Okay, we're in, right? Now that's it. So that was, a loss trade actually. So next one, we got an entry. So hopefully this works. If this did not work, of course, that will be minus 2R. But that's also perfect because the previous day, there was a perfect setup here for, CPI. I did not take it anyways, but yeah. Okay, so this was basically it Friday. And then we had, that massive, drop as a result. So this was basically how, it played out. And the structure for all of these trades, I drew all of the structure, and I shared it, in the chart, which I believe you may have seen. Yeah. Okay, so it's I shared it in the trading floor and also with, the SIP members and all. So, well, let's see. So let's bring this back. Week 40. Cool. So let me just use this now. So let me bring the live stuff to show you. So you can see this was literally how, the market played out. Okay. So let's look at the price. Let's look at the patterns, right? You can see here for this last trade, for example, you can see how there was a consolidation around here. Price sold off. We had a change of character, bearish structure. Price pullback. You can see this low was swept. Price gave us this structure like it was ready to sell off. This was a nice inducement around this area for price to respect this high and then sell off, but that also failed. And you can see price now tapped into this extreme supply zone and then sold off. So you can see this pattern, right? So yeah, and then for this one, in anticipation of CPI, you can see price had already mitigated the higher, 4-hour POI. We had a change of character. Price was consolidating ahead of CPI. There were opportunities to enter here. If this high was respected, then we get a massive sell-off. If price violates this high, then maybe we get, price push into this, and then we get a sell-off. So we're ready for the two scenarios. But this one worked out, and there was no need to enter here. Now, how about this price action here? Oh, this one, of course, was beyond the trading time, so we didn't take that. Now, how about this price action here? Clearly, you can see here we had a high, low, high, low, right? We had sweep of liquidity. Let me see this. Okay, sweep of liquidity push. Price failed to this section here. This was it actually. So price failed to just push, into to hit our target. Price took us out, but eventually, pushed higher. And then this other trade, what do we have here? You can see clearly here that price swept this low, and then price returned, tap into this low, and then market open London session, and that was it. And then what do we have here? You can also see here that we had the structure. Price pulled back all the way down here, pushed up, change of character, price returned, entry, and then target that previous high, and that was what eventually happened, that this high went. All right, and this basically are the structures, an illustration of all of the trades that played out, in addition to the structure for each of these trades. Okay, so hey, so that is it. I hope you've actually picked a ton of value from this. If we're to do the analysis of all the valid trade setups, let's do that. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, so Monday, that was plus 5R, right? Then Tuesday, that was plus 6, plus 6.3R there, about plus 6.4R. Then Wednesday was minus 1R. Then Thursday was plus, let's say plus 10R. This was valid even though it was high impact news anyways. So trades that you enter with caution, of course, but yeah, it was a valid trade setup. On Friday, minus 1R, and plus what? Plus 7R. Okay, so our wins, losses, we had 2 losses, right? This here and also this. And then our wins, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. Okay, so in total our RR was 5 plus this, that's 11, 11.4, 11.4 minus 11.4 minus 1, that's 10.4. 10.4 plus this, that's 20.4. 20 minus this, that's 19.4 plus 7, that's 26 thereabout. I hope my math is correct anyways. 26.4R. Okay, so you do the math. Risking 1%, that's 26.4%. As you may know, you didn't take trades outside of your plan, or outside of the plan, right? If you're risking 0.5%, that's what? That's 13.2. Because usually that's where the real pain comes in, when these are perfect setups, right? So in the real market, you're not going to take all of this. I did not take all of this, but at least you get a sense of what you would get if you actually do stick to the trading plan, and you take the right setups. You don't rush it, you don't revenge trade, you don't try to take trades when the setup is not there. This is what you get. Okay, so hey, that is it. Assuming you even take out this CPI trade here, this minus this 10, you still end up with like 16%, or even 8% if you're risking 0.5. So it's actually a good one. So it just takes discipline to be able to stick to the plan, ensure that you follow everything, and you'll be able to see the dividend and the reward. So hey, it's been a pleasure sharing this with you. See you next time on or see you the following week All right, all the best. Stay stuck in profit and bye bye.